And finally, we have Ramesh from MommyNiri. It's a mommy blog.
Okay, cool.
Hi, Katherine. This is Ramesh. How are you?
Good.
Good. My first question to you is, what do you think about putting common people under pressure situations or under scanner, almost like a reality show, while essentially this is all about cooking at your home and cooking like a common person, and people tend to make mistakes. They tend to be not normal during the pressure situations. So what's the idea behind that?
Well, I think it's actually really wonderful to put home cooks out there and really promote the whole idea of home cooking. I mean, that's who's cooking in America. I mean, I was just actually thinking about it this morning, that there are more home cooks than there are professionals. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunately, with all the pressures of, our lives, it's getting harder and harder for people to get into the kitchen. And I think anything that really gives people pride in what they're doing, encourages them, engages them, is a wonderful way to say, like, I can do it too. And many of the people that compete in the show, they send in their recipes because they look and they see, someone just like their neighbor, and they can say, my chili is better than that. I'm sending that in. And I think that engages people. Obviously, the thing of cooking under pressure is what makes it dramatic and also makes it work as a television idea. But I want to let you know how excited the contestants are to be here and how amazing they feel it is just to be an honor to be able to cook at Food Network, and to open up our kitchens and bring those people in there. I just think it's something that makes me really, really proud of that we actually do it.
Right. So it's almost becoming like a food Olympics in many ways.
Yeah, but it's like, you don't have to be a professional chef. You don't have to be trained to be a good cook. And I think that there's really, unfortunately, this message that's been sent out there is like, well, if I'm not a chef, I can't make dinner. And that's a crazy idea. I mean, think of where we'd be as humans if that we only would turn to professionals to cook for us. Learning to cook and being engaged in the kitchen is a human, wonderful way of celebrating yourself and taking care of yourself, and everyone should be able to feel comfortable in the kitchen.
Sure.
I'm just slightly passionate about this, if you haven't figured that out.
Of course, and especially if you have to do it on TV. From a business point of view, what is it that you're looking for? Because there could be so many themes around food cooking. So if some kind of theme, whether it's the Ultimate Food Recipe Showdown or some kind of Iron Chef program or something else, what is it that you're looking in a theme before you make that theme as part of the TV program?
Well, part of it is going to be a category that people really relate to and get. I mean, and that they want recipes for. I mean, burgers is a perfect example. That people love that. And that they love, and it's something that has lots of room for variation and creativity. So something iconic like that is a great theme for the show. Then something also like hometown favorites, which is great because it tells a story. And, television is still, it's a dramatic form, and it needs to tell a story. And if you can tell a food story about where it comes from and why you're inspired from it, and is it about a place? I mean, like the winner last week of Comfort Food, it was so great. She brought her own water, to make her pizza dough. So it's like that kind of engagement with her process and where she's from, and that it really, food tells a story about place and people. And so when we can do that around a theme and with foods that people want, I think that it's, you hit the trifecta, and it's a great category.
Mm-hmm. Would you be able to share some of the mistakes that you might have made in terms of judging food?
Mistakes we've made judging food. Well, I think that if when you're judging that you make someone feel like, oh, I could never do that again, that would be a mistake. If, there's a lot riding on it, food-wise, money-wise, obviously, but, I would want to make sure that somebody learned something if the food wasn't right, and that they could go on and do it again, and do it better.
Sure.
So if I turn someone off from cooking, that would be really a drag for me.
Last question from me. Are you? Is there any kind of program that you're planning in terms of exclusively for vegetarians?
Possibly, we're going to talk more about where we're launching a cooking channel in the spring, where we feel like we'll have a lot more opportunities to do things that round out the whole sort of menu for what we're doing, and that would be an opportunity to do that there. And we're always in the magazine incorporating vegetarian concepts and menus throughout it, because I do think people are really, it's funny, vegetables really stymie people, and they're not exactly sure what to do beyond, the sort of standard, boiled broccoli. So I think that the more ideas that people can have, we do that every single month in the magazine.
In fact, when I travel to Europe, I find a lot more options for vegetarians in Europe than in America. So
yes.
That is something that we need to, more popularize.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I think that more and more people are really realizing that. But as I had a conversation with someone recently, the two most popular dishes in like the whole comfort food category are vegetarian: pizza and macaroni and cheese. So we don't realize it, but Americans do eat a lot of vegetarian food.
Right. And the vegetarianism is growing pretty fast.
Yes.
And we need to promote that.
I couldn't agree with you more. I feel like, not one vegetable, but in my house there's 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 vegetables. And when I'm thinking about meal planning, the first thing I think about is not the protein, but what are the vegetables I'm going to have.
Right. Great. Thank you, Catherine.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, so that's everyone. We have a few extra minutes. Does anyone have any extra questions for Catherine?
It's Troy from Deadbolt.